are back. This is Entrepreneurs on Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs, such as my new best friend, Andy Gray. Man, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm really good today.
You're a member of Alliances, and you have an incredible company, Career Coach Group.
Yes,
Tell
I
us
do.
more specifically about what you do.
Well, the best way I like to be able to tell people about what it is that I do, it starts with the story that made me get into this business. And it's my son. 3.5 years ago, he's graduating from college. And he calls me up in the second semester as a senior. And he says, "Dad, are you paying for the 5th year?" And I said, "No."
The 5-year plan.
There was no 5-year plan. No 5-year plan in my budget. So what I said is, go to the Career Center, because now you need to look for a job.
Right.
And then call me back the following day and let me know what happens. So he calls me back the following day and he says very pointedly, nothing happened of any value at the Career Center. Basically, he was intimidated because he went to a large university, similar to, almost in the same size, a large university like an ASU. And so I said, if you're going to want to look for a job and do it properly, you need to spend time now listening to me. And he said, I'll be glad to do that. I said, now, the difference is that while you have done all right in school, you need to earn an A for this project. We're going to work for the next several months, and we're going to work on your resume. We're going to work on how do you brand yourself, how you network, how do you go to a career fair, expectations. So basically, I started building a process over the following 3 months. And he actually exceeded all of my expectations.
And this is hard for your own son to listen to his
Oh,
own
he
dad.
listened. He was really good about it. And it's an interesting wrap up as I finish the story to this whole process. He ended up getting, and we practiced interviews, et cetera, and a couple of funny stories with it, but he ended up getting a really good job opportunity. And he took it, and we were practicing for the job opportunity. And there's this little side story that I always find humorous to tell people, is that when we were practicing the final interview, it was on Skype. And so we practiced the first time a day before the before his final interview.
Right.
And he was fumbling through it in the morning. He really wasn't getting it. He was, and he was lacking confidence. So we kind of worked through that. And in the afternoon, his performance on the Skype practice interview was phenomenal. And then we practiced asking questions. And so he would, okay, so I finished the interview, and so as a practicing interviewer, I said, what questions do you have? And he went through the questions that he had, and I said, and I went through the answers and said, okay, and said, well, I have one more question. I said, oh, what's that? And he said, who's your favorite son? Because I have 2 boys. And he said it in such a way that it took me a half a second to realize he was trying to trick me. So anyway, he got the job, which was great. And then fast forward 1.5 years after that, through this job that he was at, he'd been transferred, and he was up for an internal promotion. And we practiced a week for interviewing. And he got the internal promotion, went back to the corporate headquarters, and he was happy. But that's when he said to me, this was last July, actually, that this occurred. And he said to me, if you get me to listen to you, you can get others my age to listen to you. And so that thought went from here to here, and that's how I started. And I already had the process worked out because I already built the program through him. And so then I spent the next couple of months building out my business idea. And then I've used Alliances and other places to start to market that idea. And that's how I got started.
Before you did this, what was your background?
My background, since I've been yay high in business, is marketing. And I've worked across consumer packaged goods businesses and B2B businesses, et cetera. And the common thread and why I think I can do what it is that I'm doing is that marketing is all about branding. It's all about packaging. It's all about making sure that what you're saying, to whom you're saying it to, is well-researched, well-founded, well thought through. And so I've used those same type of skill sets in developing my whole program in order for clients of mine to understand that when you're in front of other people and talking about you as your own product, it's no different than you talking about the product that you work with in whatever capacity or whatever brand they've been associated with, regardless of whether they're an engineer, they're a marketing person, or a salesperson. You're always being able to talk about your business in a way that becomes important to the customer, internal or external. It's no different than how you package yourself when you're talking about yourself as a product.
And when you looked at your son, you looked at him as, you said it as a project, and he was the 4 Ps, right? I mean, price, product, placement, and promotion. And this is what you need to do, son, and that's how you develop the system with your background. And successfully, he found a job at the end of the.
And found a job and got himself a promotion, and absolutely.
And now you package this for other clients that.
And it crosses demographic groups, so the process is identical. While I developed this program specifically, obviously for my son, and it works extremely well with other young students that graduating college, whether it's undergraduate or graduate, the process is identical. And it's identical whether you're in the 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s in terms of your job search process. How you package yourself, how you promote yourself, how do you communicate, how do you overcome the obstacles that a decision maker will have in any process, whether you're a salesperson selling a product or you're selling yourself, regardless of the age, it's identical. And so I've been able to broaden the opportunity that I offer to people beyond just the younger generation.
Do you have any resistance from, again, we're talking about the younger generation, and millennials are pretty special, you know, I mean, they know everything there is to know about anything, and here comes a very seasoned, experienced,
older guy coming into play
to tell you what you need to do. Do you get a little bit of resistance on that?
I haven't, and the reason that I believe I haven't is that I tell people that when I was their age, I felt the same way they did about people my age.
Exactly.
And while there are some demographic and psychographic differences with different generations, whether you're a baby boomer or the X, Generation X, millennials, or the group that's coming after the millennials, there is still a common thread of when you're in the so-called adult world, you need to adopt a perception and a presentation that at least gets you to the opportunity of that you're interested in.
Correct.
And that personality doesn't go away, who you are, but how you manifest that in an environment where you can succeed. That's what you need to learn to adapt to as you continue to grow a career, regardless of where you are.
And you're a master marketer. Now, how do you market this so that other younger people can find you?
Right. And that's the ongoing always challenge, because the way you market today is different than where we all marketed in the past.
Correct.
Between online and offline type programs. And so I do a combination of both. Some I'm doing really well at, some I'm continuing to learn to improve on.
And it's always about adjusting
the marketing mix.
The marketing mix, right?
Absolutely. You learn, and there's no such thing, and I tell clients, there is no such thing as one marketing plan that's foolproof that will last in a sustainable way. You always need to adjust to the marketplace and what's going on. So I've used networking in a variety of different ways. I've gone to the community colleges, the universities in the market area, et cetera, to let everybody understand who I am and what I have to offer, and I've been able to get some opportunities in that regard. I've used alliances and other networking groups to extend my reach and credibility, because when you're new to an industry, you've got to establish credibility. And so by getting people to know who I am and what I have to offer is a big part of that whole process for marketing.
And two more things real quick. Is this an affordable consulting agreement that you have? Because, the student is going to say, my goodness, I'm just getting started. I may not have all the money in the world to be able to afford somebody with a marketing background that you have.
Well, I like to believe that my price points and what I offer and how I offer them is affordable.
Right.
And it's not any different towards an undergraduate or graduate student looking for their first job, because sometimes they'll have to get those funds from their folks.
Right.
But it's not any different than when you're in transition. When you're in transition and you may or may not have a severance package from a company, financial challenges still exist. And so regardless of the age group, there's a common thread of, can I afford the type of service that you're offering? And so what I try to do, and I offer this to all of my clients, is a free hour of my time. And sometimes that hour will become an hour and a half by the time I'm finished with a conversation.
Right.
And I'm providing advice, counsel, and thoughts based on where they're at and how they communicate what they're looking to achieve. And through that process, what I try to do is create a level of transparency and credibility as to who I am and what I can offer. And in that process, I'm able to then, if the client is ready to proceed, they're ready to proceed. And I'm able to then start working with them as a client of mine. Where it becomes a challenge financially, we'll work through, and I have a couple of different packages in terms of how I help them through the process.
You make it easy.
I try to make it easy.
Yeah,
and if at the end of the day they certainly can't afford what it is that I can offer, that's okay too, and maybe or maybe not they'll call me back, but not every client and any opportunity is always going to be the right client for you.
Finally, Andy, how do you measure your success? Do you measure your success based on the end result, which is obviously what we want to happen, is that the client gets a job or gets whatever they're looking for, or how do you measure it?
I measure it through client satisfaction and the change that I can see and the change that they're seeing in themselves. I can't guarantee that after a 3-month program, which is what my program is all about, that they're going to get a job. I mean, and then I do it myself.
Exactly.
There is no such thing as that magic, potion that can land somebody a position. What I tell people and what I do promise is that they'll become more disciplined, confident, and focused in their job search process. And by doing that, they then will walk away when they're ready to cut the umbilical cord, knowing how to do what it is that they need to do and how they, what the process is to get this next several steps done in their thing. And I can give you a couple of examples. I worked with a person who has 30 years of experience in a particular function within an organization. He was displaced. After the end of the 3-month period, his thought process changed dramatically, such that at the end of the 3 months, he wanted to take me out. We went out for a beer afterwards at a local restaurant, and I met his wife. I didn't expect to meet his wife, but his wife wanted to thank me in person for the change in who he had become as a result of now his level of confidence.
Of the system.
Of the process that we went through together.
And this is incredible. Now, had I been your son, I would have asked you the following question. Dad, my brother and I and you, we are on a boat, and we've been without water, stranded in the middle of the ocean. It's 2 weeks. There's only maybe just a little bit of food for just 2 of us. Who do you throw overboard? Now, I would have asked that question.
I got a different answer to that.
But
I got a true story on that particular concept.
And I tell you what, because we're going to have to bring you back for that story, and whoever wants to know the answer to that story, they're going to have to tune in again.
Well,
Andy, you're awesome, Andy Gray. For those of us who have kids, and I'm gonna send my daughter Carly to talk to you, and you will change her life, because she just graduated 2 days ago from ASU.
Okay, great.
And so I hope she's looking for a job. Who knows? Who knows? With that, we're out.